Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to the live. We're going to talk about manifesting in your business. Let me hi. Let me just write that in. Hi, okay. Natalia, let's see if I can. Natalia, can you ask to join me, please? Yes, you did. Okay, awesome. Hey, everybody. Hi, Christina. Hey,
Hi.
Lindsay. Hi, you're here. Thanks for being
Hello.
here. Not
Thank
bad.
you.
Thanks for being here with us.
Of course. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, it's still sunny in California.
We're having a heat wave, which I think you guys are used to humidity, but I'm not.
Oh my gosh, it is
Yeah.
rough. The humidity, Miami summers are the worst. They're like bad winters,
Oh
right? Where are my
gosh.
Miami people at?
Yeah. I
So
don't think I
bad.
could do
Okay.
it. I'm used to the dry heat.
Ugh. Our nanny's from Venezuela, and she was like I had no idea, but she was like, I can deal with heat, but not humidity. Like apparently, there's not. Humidity is like the worst part. That's all I know.
Yes.
Hi guys, welcome,
Hmm.
welcome. Okay, so we're gonna be talking. Let me just let's see how to manifest in your business. So let me just put it up here. Your business. So excited to have Natalia here, who is my spiritual business go-to. Okay, pin the comment. There we go. It is so hot. Yes, it is windy. Okay, cool. So let's get started, guys. If you have questions, go ahead and write them in because I'll be watching them. But we just want to go over. I just want to start by saying, well, introducing Natalia. Welcome, Natalia. I love Natalia's work because she's such a good business coach, but she has a beautiful spiritual twist to the way that she does things, which is that is totally my style. And since so many of you have your businesses or starting side hustles, or just trying to manifest a little bit more when it comes to career and work and money and all those kind of things, I just felt like it'd be a good time to bring on Natalia. So thanks for being here. So I want you to, well, tell us a little bit about what you do, how you do it, and then I want to hear a little bit about kind of how you started discovering manifesting in your work. You there? Did you
Start
hear
and
me?
scale. Oh yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I am a business coach and I help and work with women who want to start and scale profitable businesses. And I'm a very strategic person, but I also found that when I started to bring in more of the spiritual and the mindset and the manifesting, that coupled with strategy really helped me grow my business so much more quickly and get results so much faster than if it was just strategy. So I've just really learned to have that balance in my own business and in my life. And then now I teach my clients how to do the same and really just being both strategic, but also manifesting, and how the combination of both things can really accelerate
Your growth. So how? Just sorry to interrupt you for a second, Natalia, but so I think a lot of people have different definitions of manifestation. To me, manifestation, people kind of sometimes think manifesting is accomplishing a goal or something, but I really see manifesting as creation. Like I see something that I want, and somehow I don't know how, I don't have the
your.
answers, but I'm actually going to start creating it. So what would you
Yes.
like when your clients who don't know what manifesting is, what do you explain? How do you explain it to them?
Yeah. The first like really key thing that I focus in on is deciding, and how important it is to decide what you want. And I have found that when it comes to building a business, there are a lot of clients, I would say pretty much all of my clients come to me not knowing what they want. And it's really interesting to me how we can go through life and we can go through the process of building a business, never deciding what we want, never asking ourselves, what is it that I actually want to create for myself? And I think part of that is because we're never raised or brought up, or we don't live in a society or a culture that teaches us to think for ourselves. Instead, we're always told, like, here's what you should want. Even in the business world, you know, you should want a 6-figure business, and you should want this, and you should want that, and it needs to look this way, when maybe that's not what fits you. Maybe that's not what you truly want. But I think that we never stop to ask ourselves, what do I want? So I always have every single one of my clients start with an exercise where they create, I just give them like a dream board, and it's just pretty much a blank sheet of paper. And I tell them, I want you to sit with yourself and I want you to ask yourself, what do I want my life and my business to look like? And I really emphasize that both are key.
Sorry, Natalia, I just lost you there for a second, but maybe it's my connection. Yeah, Natalia, I'm losing you for a second. So maybe let me close you off for a second. I'm gonna invite you back in. You. Okay. Just give it a second. But going back on what she was saying, she was talking about making a decision, which I find it's like so simple, but like so genius at the same time, because if you don't decide what you want in your business is going to decide for you. I always like, there's so many times, or like the people you're working with are going to start to decide for you. And by like, before you know it, your business is becoming something that you didn't even like want it to become. Like, how many of you have like started a business because you were trying to get out of like your 9 to 5, and then all of a sudden that you find out that like you're way worse of a boss to yourself than like your other tyrant boss was. Like, sometimes I when I first started my business, I'm like, oh my gosh, who's running the show here? Like, what an asshole this boss is. And it's because like I didn't take the time to decide. Like I didn't really like decide what I wanted, and where I like being very intentional about where I wanted that to go. So it's a simple concept, but the decision so that you can start, because manifesting is creating that road. And a lot of us, I think, leave things up to chance, and sometimes we're like, oh, whatever the universe wants, wherever things are going. But the truth is, the more you want to go, the more likely like that is to happen and to come in. So I love that concept of this is the decision. Okay, we're still waiting for her to come in. I know that where she is, she doesn't always get the best service. So hopefully she'll come back. What are your manifesting questions, guys? So I can be here, even if it's not business related. So drop them in, right? And look, and the truth is with business, you don't always, especially when you're first starting, you don't really know what you want. Like you don't have to be super clear on how the business is going to work, but you can maybe have a clarity of like what you want your lifestyle to look like what kind of time do you want off, all those kind of things. And those are good North Stars. You don't have to be very clear on, exactly how it's going to work or what it like looks like in the business, but have an idea of what you want for your life, and then you make the business around that. Okay. So, guys, we're just waiting, but dropping in some questions, because this is really not my topic here. Just answered my question on clarity. Yeah. So, it was so funny. I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine who's a really great businessman. And I was telling him this thing that I was like showing up in my business that I could feel like almost my clients were asking for. And I was like, oh, maybe this is a good path. This is something good to follow. And he's like, yeah, no, I see it. I see it's like you're kind of building like this kind of business, right? He's like explaining the kind of business that he saw me building. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want that. Hold on, let me let her in. Internet gods, let Natalia in, let her connect well. I was just praying to the internet, the Wi-Fi gods for you.
Hi. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so we talked about clarity. I like making that decision, and I followed up with that. So what's your what's after decision?
So making a decision, and just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit more, there's also like it can be as simple as just deciding like so there's that. It just comes down to showing confidence around your decision. And do you really truly believe that you can manifest that much money? Do you truly believe that you can manifest that many clients? So when I decide I want something, I take action as if it is going to happen, and my belief is around this is going to happen. There's no doubt or question around it. So, for example, like the most recent thing I manifested was that I wanted a new team member. Like what my budget was going to be to pay them, and I had to go talk to like my accountant and financial advisor about it. But when I approached her, even though she needed to run the numbers and make sure it was going to work, I decided that like it was going to.
Okay, we're losing Natalia a little bit, you guys, but what she's
Like this is going
saying,
to happen.
let's see. Okay, just lost her. Okay, so but what she was saying was step one is get very clear on what you want. And step two, she was saying is that you have to believe that you can bring that thing in. So if you're like, okay, I want to work these certain amount of hours and I want to make this kind of money, like that has to feel doable for you and that has to feel realistic to you, right? And you have to do what you need to do in order to like believe that. So she was telling a story about wanting a team member for the first time and not really sure that like maybe she could afford it or if it was doable, but actually like she basically started to collect evidence. She was like talking to her accountant, talking to some people that helped her start to believe that like this was totally doable like in her business, and it gave her a little bit of confidence and she started to believe and started to know also what she wanted. So that's what she was talking about. Let's see if we can get her back in. Okay. And then if you find that you're not believing in the thing that you want to bring in, hi. I kind of hear you, so I just like recap what you say. So I was hearing this, so I like recapped what you said basically, because I can kind of hear you.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying that you recapped. I was able to hear a little bit of it. So acting, and then the last piece that I would bring in is releasing, because I think that there's a lot that comes with co-creating with the universe, and we have to realize that there's action and there's also release. And what I find is that when people start to take action around what they want to create, they also try to take control. And when you try to take control, you actually block yourself from receiving and from co-creating with the universe. So you have to act, but then release and trust that it's going to happen. Like, so for me, that's where it was, I want to hire this person. I need to, run the numbers, have my accountant check this. But I'm not going to try and control the situation. I'm not going to try and take it into my own hands. You can't control who's going to sign up. You can decide I want 5 clients and I'm going to show up and market myself and do lives and make my offers because I want to get 5 clients, but you cannot control who's going to sign up. And when you try to take control of those things that it becomes overwhelming and stressful, and you actually block yourself from receiving. So you want to release and trust that, the 5 clients I want are going to show up, and it's going to be the perfect people who are meant to work with me right now. And I'm going to do my part in showing up, but I'm not going to try and control the result from coming in. And I think that it's when somebody isn't doing one of those things, if you're not deciding, if you're not acting, if you're not releasing, that's where you can be blocking yourself from receiving the manifestation, whether it be money, clients, a team member, speaking opportunities. Like, I've manifested all of those things in my business, and it's been through following that process, which is simple, yet it can be very challenging at the same time.
So I always laugh. Natalia is a master manifestor. She's a master manifestor at work, but she's always she's also a master manifestor in dating. Natalia is like the only person that had like a slew of dates during COVID, just so you guys know. And that's a side thing. We can talk to her about that on another day. But she's like, it's just kind of funny. This came to my mind right now. So if and you guys, I misunderstood. I thought the second step when you were going in and out was like believing that it can happen, but it's acting. And you were saying, so acting is kind of like at least starting to take the steps, like trying, like not, I guess, like at least starting the flow of this coming and doing what you can do. I guess is what you were saying. It's like a co-creation. Like you're going to have the universe helping you out, but but you have to do your part. Like as much as you could do.
Exactly. Yeah. So in your business, that can look like, you can't, like this, I hear this all the time where clients come to me and they're like, I'm not making any sales. And then I ask them, well, are you selling? Are you promoting? Are you pitching? And they'll say no. And I'm like, well, you can't hide and expect clients to come to you. So do your part, and then release that, and trust that the right clients will show up.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think a lot of people feel that manifesting is like something that's woo-woo and it's not grounded, and you get to just like stay home and like visualize and dream about it. But the truth is like it is a co-creation, which is basically like there's 2 things working to create this thing. It's the universe plus you, but you have to go as far as you possibly can go, but without being like attached to the outcome, without being attached to like the results of when it happens, how it happens, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What about like if I'm trying to manifest something that I don't really, let's say like I've only been making $5,000 a month in my business, or not only, but I've been making $5,000, and I actually want to make $20,000. And as I start to manifest 20, maybe that is too big of a leap and I don't really believe it. Is there anything, I guess, what would be your advice when you were trying to hit something, manifest something that maybe there's a part of us that doesn't really believe in it yet?
So I always like to tell my clients that when it comes to goals, especially financial goals, you have to build to the goal. In order to hit $10,000, you have to hit 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. And I think a lot of times people assume that you're just going to jump from like 0 to 5,000 or 5,000 to 10,000. And that can happen. But I think that there's this idea of I'm just going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be there, instead of I'm going to build towards it. So like if you're doing a launch on your business and your goal is to get 5 clients, what I see happen a lot of times is, people will start a launch and then they'll be like, only 1 person signed up. And I'm like, well, how long has it been? A week. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Like keep going, keep building. Like you have to get the first client, to get 3 clients and 4 and 5. And people will get discouraged when they don't see it right away, but you have to build towards it, and I think that for me, something that really helps is releasing timelines and putting deadlines on it, because I think that that oftentimes can make us feel like a failure if we're like, I want to hit 5K and it has to happen by this date. And if it doesn't happen, then I give up and I'm not trying and I'm a failure, instead of seeing it as like, well, my goal is to hit 5,000 and I'm going to keep working towards that until it happens, regardless of whether it takes 3 months or 6 months. And that actually, I have found, makes it happen so much faster because you're not trying to put this pressure around the goal. And I also think a lot of it is just really doing the mindset work. You know, the only thing stopping you from going from 5K months to 20K months is some sort of block that you have mindset wise. So if you're willing to sit and do the work and discover what's stopping me, what's that block, then I think that's where you get the results so much faster instead of trying to force it to happen.
Absolutely. The way that we see that energetically is like it's working up like an energetic ladder. So it's basically, which is why any sort of mindset work, like if you don't feel, you know, so we're talking about business and money, let's say, if you don't feel work, if you are used to seeing, you know, $1,000 a month and you're trying to get to 10, that energetically, like that's too much of a leap for you to wrap your mind around that, to understand that. So energetically, you have to go from what is like real, like you have to just go up a little bit, like what's something that's like realistic, and then basically you start working until you believe in that like bigger leap. And then once you make some of those big leaps, then you can like double the leap. You know, like I see that like once you hit kind of, you know, you hit like 10K, then you're like, oh, now I can do 5 more, and like it becomes bigger chunks at some point. But you have to like work your way up the energetic ladder. If you have a negative belief about anything, if it's like I am, you know, not pretty enough or whatever, let's say, to tell you to start being like, well, just say mantras that you are the most beautiful thing in the world, it's too much of an energetic leap. You'll have to go into realistic first. You'll have to be like, there are many beautiful things about me. And that is like up a little bit of the ladder. And then after you feel good about believing that, then you can go up the ladder again. So you have to move your energy to be a match to that thing that you're trying to manifest. And sometimes it takes a little bit of going up the ladder. Makes sense? Who is working up an energetic ladder towards something that they're trying to believe in, something that so you're manifesting is like, the reason it's not working often is because there is, you know, there's not an energetic match just yet. And if there is no energetic match, like what do I need to believe? What do I need to feel to become an energetic match for that? So it's a ladder. If the bottom is like, I can't, this is never going to happen, and the top of the ladder is like totally positive that it's going to happen, totally believe in it, what are like the steps, you know, feelings wise, energetic wise, to get you up there? Make sense, guys? Okay. Who is starting a business or has a business? Hey. Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, Zena. Hey. So, what are some things that you've manifested in your business that you feel like you can pat yourself on the back for?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
What are some things that you've manifested in your business that you feel like that you were pretty impressed by?
Okay, so I've manifested a few things. So I did actually, this year I manifested 10K cash in my business in 3 days. So that was something that I was like, I was like really proud of that, because I was like, I think even I was a little bit shocked, you know, like, oh, I did this, you know, like that's pretty cool. So there's been that. I also, last year I manifested a speaking engagement, and it was this very simple process, and there was a lot of ease around like, I want to book a conference this year, you know, and just kind of deciding and believing it was going to show up for me, and it did. I had someone else reach out to me and ask if I could speak at their event. So I think that I think it's really understanding, like, these are the steps to take and just doing them with confidence and doing them over and over again. And then that latest one was that adding that person to my team. So it really can be anything. I think it can be clients, it can be money, it can be speaking opportunities if you want to be on a podcast. Like, I think oftentimes we have these thoughts and these ideas of like, I wish I could be on a podcast, or I wish that I could make this much money, or I wish. And it's like, instead of making it a wish, why not turn it into a manifestation and make it something that actually happens for you by, taking this process and implementing it and trying it out for yourself. Because what's the worst that can happen? Like, try, manifesting in your business and see what happens, see how it works for you. Um, so any wishes that you have for yourself or for your business, I want to encourage you to turn those into manifestations and to implement this process and watch it come to life for yourself.
Yeah. And I love the idea of manifesting in your business because, it could be like a game, and it could be led by curiosity and like, be like, let's see, like, if I can do this, like, can I do this? Like, if I can manifest, that little
Yes.
black dress, like, so it's kind of, it's a game. It should be fun. It should be something that like
Yes.
is fun to hit. Not for me, like those financial goals with deadlines and quarters was always very scary. I'm a very good businesswoman, but that was just, it felt so much pressure for me. And once I kind of was like, this is a game, this is fun, let's see what we can do, like, let's see what happens when we do this, like, it feels like I'm baking rather than like, being like in an exam. So it's fun. It's fun to like, it's magical. That's really what it feels like. It's your business, and you get to have fun in your business. And it gets to be magical in your business.
Because if it's not fun, like I always tell my clients, like, why would you leave a job you hate in order to create a business you hate? Like, you might as well stay at your job, because you're going to hustle harder, like work more, and it's going to be stressful. So why not create a business that you love? Why not create a life that you love? And I don't know, like, I think, like, even in my personal life, like you were saying, I've manifested a lot of things. Like, I've manifested homes and cars and people. And when I see those things, I'll look at like, oh, look at this beachfront apartment I manifested. This is amazing. If I can do this, what else can I do? Like, what else can I co-create with the universe? Because there's literally no limitation other than your own limitations on your mindset and your beliefs. And that's why if you can do the work around those and really believe bigger for yourself, that's where anything is possible.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Natalia. That you were saying like, if I could manifest this apartment that she's talking, this home that she was talking about, then what else can I manifest? And the truth is, like, we're always manifesting in parts of our lives. And if you feel like you may have a block in one area, but you're killing it in another area. Maybe you're killing it when it comes to dating or clothes or whatever. Then you, like, whatever you're doing there, whatever that secret sauce is there, you can bring it into other areas. So it is important for you to like watch what you have manifested and even keep track of it, so that you start to know that it's happening. You can start to like hack yourself basically, and like reverse engineer yourself and see what you did to make that happen, and then just use it in whatever area of life you're trying to manifest it. Do you have any like rituals, Natalia, or anything that you do when the manifestation is something that maybe is a little out there for you? It's a little bit of a reach. Is there any sort of practice that you do?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. Is there, do you do any practices or any rituals to help you manifest something that maybe feels a little bit harder to reach?
Yeah, so what I like to do is at the beginning of every month, I actually like to sit down and write down, like, instead of goals, I say like my manifestation list. And so I sit down and I write down the things that I want to manifest for that month. And I don't even necessarily specify it to like, this has to happen this month. But I just kind of say, these are the manifestation things, or these are the things I want to manifest. And I'll write them down at the beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, I'll actually go back and look at that list. And I love to see like what I actually did manifest. And then anything that I didn't manifest, I just move over into the following month, because again, we're building towards the goal. So I don't give up and say like, oh, this didn't happen this month, that means it's never going to happen. So like, instead, it's such a good way to just reflect and see like, wow, I made all of these things happen. That's amazing. And now I can keep going and move on to the following month and roll over the things that haven't happened yet, and trust that they're still on their way. And then I get to add new things. So it's really fun to get to do that. And I think that it's a way to feel more accomplished versus like maybe goal setting and, looking at what you didn't do. You can see everything you did do. So 100% I recommend at least writing down what you want to manifest. I think that that's a key starting point, is writing things down. And it's always just such a great way to look back and remind yourself of like what you made happen or when you saw it come to life. And then the other thing I'll do is like, I do spend time in the mornings as well. Like as part of my morning routine, I'll sit down and like look at the list, or I'll even use crystals and like hold crystals and like say the manifestations out loud, or like, step into like gratitude for these things and just like thank the universe that they're coming and that they're going to happen. And I think that that's just a really good way to keep it top of mind. But I feel like writing down is like the key thing to do.
Yeah, there's like a statistic that like when you write things down, they're more likely to happen or something like that. That's beautiful. That inspires me. I don't do like with as spiritual and all the things. I don't do that in my business so much. That was like that's like super inspiring for me. And one thing that I have found that people who are good manifestors are people who are good at like patting themselves on the back, because you have to be able to, like you said, you have to be able to see like what you've already accomplished or what you've already created in order to feel capable of doing the next thing. So if you like don't celebrate yourself, if you don't pat yourself on the back, if you're not good at that, then it's very hard to like hit more things. So if there's like one thing to start doing, if you feel like, it doesn't really work out for you, you have to start like looking at like what you have created, even if it's as simple as like, man, I really need a pen. And then like somebody shows up and it's like, oh, is this pen yours? Like, even if it's so simple, you have to be like, oh my gosh, I manifested that. Like the small things have to be acknowledged. If not, it's kind of like you have this magic wand, but if you don't recognize it, then you can't keep using it. So you have to recognize the creation power that you already have in order to like create more.
Yes, yeah. And I think that comes with celebrating everything, just like you were saying. Like, and I encourage my clients, like, are you celebrating a $25 sale as much as a $5,000 sale in your business, and really noticing that and being grateful for it? And one thing I like to do business-wise as a tool is like, I actually will track every single sale that comes in by just having a spreadsheet where I input the sale. You might get to a certain point where it's hard to do that because you have a high volume, but if you don't get a lot of sales every month, like write them down, see the number, be grateful for it, regardless of what that is, because I think that steps you into a place of abundance instead of scarcity, and just saying like, oh, this sale came in today, I'm so grateful this sale came in, or, doing it on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. So even though I don't have to do that because I have an accountant, it's just a really good way to step into gratitude and feel abundant for like, look at all these sales that came in this month, and this is incredible. And that can really shift you from scarcity into abundance.
Yeah, exactly. Gratitude is like, it brings you into that place, especially when you're working on and feeling confident about something. So for sure, I celebrate and I get them all the time, and it can be easy to be like, oh, just another this or whatever. But the truth is, like, I still like make myself, if I have to forget, to be like, that's amazing, Nikki, good job, like, look at that, and that gratitude attracts more to you. So that's really important.
Yeah.
Well, anything else, Natalia, that you want to share? This is so helpful. I'm inspired.
Yeah. Not really. I would just say, like, if you haven't tried manifesting in your business, like, really try it out. That you're not alone in building your business. There's a reason why you felt called to do it. And even if you're feeling called to start a business, like, you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to know what feels aligned to me in this moment. What feels like that first step that I need to take. Trust that. Like trust that there's a journey and that there's a process and that you're being supported in that and that you don't have to create everything alone. Um, you're co-creating. You have the ability to manifest. That's how powerful of a being you are. And if you can tap into that, you can create incredible things that are going to be impactful in this world and things that are needed. So I would just encourage anyone who is a business owner or wants to become a business owner to bring manifestation in if you haven't already, and just watch how not doing things alone can really accelerate your growth.
I love that. I love that. I went to an Abraham Hicks event before. Have you heard of them? Yeah.
Yes.
They were like a little out there sometimes. It's hard to understand them. But anyways, one of the things that she said on the stage, she was like, always make a to-do list, one for you and one for the universe. Like she split her to-do list with like all the things that you want to do and the things that you want the universe to handle. And it's not that you're just like, hey, universe, pay my taxes. But you know that it's really just to remind you that you're not alone and that you're working with something and that you have support. And so I thought that was like a cute way to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That is a good exercise.
Do we have any questions, guys? Let me know. Okay. Let's asking all the questions. Let me see. Well, we answered one that came in. Okay. Yes. Vibes being cute says, I like that, not needing all the answers. Yeah, you don't. Because the truth is, you're going to be shown like one step at a time. So you don't need to know where it's all going. You just follow one step at a time. All right, Natalia. So how can we'll connect with you via Instagram. And I know sometimes you teach like a manifestation workshop, right?
Yes, yeah. So you can follow me on social media at Social Business Bosses. I'm regularly putting out free content and doing trainings. I'm actually doing a sales training right now for free every Tuesday. And I do teach, like I like to bring in both strategy and manifestation. So you'll hear me talk about both a lot, but I'm very active on Instagram. And if you do have any questions at any point, feel free to reach out to me. I'm constantly talking to people in my DMs. But yeah, I always have a lot of free resources. So feel free to follow along and yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for hanging in there with us, Natalia. Thank you for sharing yourself with us. This is very helpful. And thanks everybody for being here. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.